guys, we're about to begin. We're gonna wait for a little bit for more people to join in. If you would like to, please like the stream so more people can see it and join. It helps a lot. Talk to you in a bit, ninjas. Yo, what's good, guys? How y'all doing? How y'all doing, my guys? Let me... Where's the music? There we are. Yo! I'm freezing, chat. I'm freezing. The fuck? Bro, I can't wait for that paper cut pack. Playing this night again. I found myself playing around this night again. Yo, you like the fit? That's the Huni, bro. Shout out to Mona Thompson or Mona Thomas. I guess it's Mona Thompson, right? Huni. God, she's so clutch. She's so talented. I love her. Just threw this on because I was freezing really. But how you doing, guys? Yeah. It is cozy. Not gonna lie, it is pretty cozy. But how you doing? How you doing, guys? Everything fire? Everything slick? I think we're gonna do today something a little bit different with to give the feedback on the pieces. I'm gonna lay them all in a sheet, like in a sheet of paper, and we're gonna take a look. We're gonna give like general feedback. You know what I mean? Like it's done in university. You know. We're gonna talk about individual pieces, but the ones that we feel that are the outliers. It would be so cool if we could do some virtual reality, like digital space, something like that, you know, that I could show you like a point of view and showing you the pieces. I guess I can do that. I have a virtual reality headset, but I would need to think about how would I stream that. But that could be so fire, you know. I make like a digital space and I put all the posters like in virtual. Yeah, VR chat could be it, you know what I mean? I would have to Gravity Sketchwork. I think that's the one that I have. I have one. I have an app, a game on Steam, that's like a digital studio or something like that. So yeah. Okay. For the ones that don't know, this is a Design Dojo stream, a space on my Discord channel where I provide weekly design assignments to hone our graphic design skills on the weekly. And then on these streams, I provide feedback to the pics you unloaded to the Discord channel. And if I feel like it by the end of it and I'm not too tired, I'll make my own live so you can check it out. And if I feel that I have something that I could teach you that would actually add value to the entire proposition, you know what I mean? So here we are, chat always popping like usual. Thank you guys for supporting already. And yeah, let me know how you felt about this last challenge. This time, the assignment was to make some typographic composition, but the real focus now was to mix type, right? And see how we could come up with interesting type combinations, right? And see what was the most harmonious. And I guess some general tips that I gave is try to think of type as, or the way that I usually approach it, right? When we're making posters, and we are now trying to tackle more like the display approach, right? When we're making posters, we are trying to make something that's really eye-catching. I guess it's really nice to try to go for the typographic combinations that really contrast in their most characteristic like feature, you know what I mean? So some really condensed goes well with types that have a bit more negative space, something really modern with something really like vintage, you know what I mean? Trying to make these typographic choices like seem really intentional. And of course there is a lot that goes into play there. You need to do it a lot to sort of gauge like the stroke width, the height of the letterbox, how wide it is, if it's modular, how how spread you're gonna put the characters, the interline, all of that. Yeah, I speak in Spanish also. I'm from Argentina. Sí, 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 hablo en español, bro. But yeah, but yeah, typography is one of those things that you need to do a lot to get the hang of it. But really, when you're starting out, and that's what I was saying to you all on the Discord, like straight copy the references, because you will not be able to copy them, right? You will not be able to copy them. But in trying to mimic them, you'll start to understand some of the logic that goes into trying to make them, right? I remember this idea of trying to copy others' work for the sake of studying, right? It's not like you're copying the work and then just put it like, look what I did. No. When I was studying like painting, like fine art, and we were doing like master studies on painters of they were really goated artists, you know what I mean? I remember one moment of revelation that I had. It was that when you're trying to do the color of the skin, I realized that you had to use a lot of colors that intuitively I would never have used, you know, like greens and violets and really deep blues that I was never going to be using if I try to attain that on my own, right? Certain ways to resolve certain features of the face. And so that was really revealing in trying to, you can extract a lot of value from studying the works of others, you know what I mean? In typography, at least in university and the way we used to learn, we had to set a lot of type. And I don't know if this next exercise, we're gonna do something a bit more with our hands. I'm gonna see how we can do this. But I think it's crucial when learning to set type. You need to do it a lot. Like for these challenges, for these assignments, or sorry, I don't want to call them challenges because they're not a challenge. They're more like homework. I'm telling you to make one piece, right? But realistically, you need to do a lot of this on the daily, you know, through a period of time to really get the hang of it and to really start to get, it's not a hang, because I don't like to treat typography, and I know a lot of designers do, in that sort of overly technical way. You can go a lot by feel. I never used like numbers or any of that for any of my professional graphic design work. I always went by feel with typography. And yeah, it's a thing you need to watch a lot of type and pay attention. You know, when you see a nice poster that you like, what's the contrast in the typography? What's like those typographies that I'm seeing and that I'm liking, I'm drawn to them. What makes them click, you know what I mean? There is a lot of observation with typography, and because we're literally looking at symbols, you know, each little thing it has from a really young age, when we learn to read, and our eyes immediately start going over the ears when you see text. Sometimes it draws our attention even more than human faces, you know. Type has that place in our subconscious or conscious, I don't know, that it really draws our eyes and makes us want to read, you know. So yeah, you need to set a lot of type to be able to do this. But we're gonna take a look at some of the entries on the Discord that we have. But yeah, in short, the exercise was that. Make some interesting typographic compositions, but more focused on the singular, you know, the big display, small type layout. Not so much like the big poster. And a lot of y'all did like more compositional posters and stuff like that. And we're just mixing fonts like like straight and center, you know what I mean? But yeah, guys, let me know if you have any questions, something that you would like to talk about before I jump into the thing, you know what I mean? Jump into Photoshop. But yeah, let's just take a quick look at the Discord channel. What we have here. Here we have the Discord. Where is it? No. Here. So we have a few here. We have quite a few. Some people were doing definitely too much. This is nice, but again, using images, not really the point of the exercise. Baby Finn, let's go. This poster, this is another thing I want to say about the feedback. To a lot of y'all, I put like the crosses, right? Read the Design Dojo, like the rules, because when I use the cross, it doesn't mean that the poster is bad. It means that it's not the exercise, right? I love this piece. I think it's beautiful. I put a cross on it because it's not the exercise, right? And also one thing that I started to realize is that you started to copy the ones that I gave the green ticks. I can't find it now, but some of you started to copy like the things that you thought I was complimenting, you know what I mean? For example, this one, then I saw other that did like the pixelated type with similar layout. This is not about getting my approval, guys. This is about understanding what the vibe of the exercise is and try to go through that exploration, you know what I mean? This is not about racking up points or nothing like that. That's what I meant in which when I said that this is not a challenge, something you need to succeed at, right? The point of the exercises is to give a direction for some exploration, right? Is to give like to orient a way of exploring something in design, not a challenge that you need to overcome and then you succeed. You know what I mean? That's sort of the difference, right? So even to ones that I gave the green tick, they have a lot of issues. I gave the green tick because that's the direction of the exercise, right? In which we can then start to nitpick and start to talk about them. You know what I mean? So that's the soul of the exercise, right? That we're getting the direction of the exploration, so we can try to get in there and we're judging everything in the same criteria. It's not that one is good, one is bad. That's not what it means, like the crosses and the green ticks. So yeah, everyone read the dojo brief, like where is it? Here, the dojo guide. Read this, pay attention to this, read it once, and then when I gave the briefs, read the entire brief. Read everything, because I realized that some of you are also not reading the entire brief, right? I'm reading the main part and you're not reading the restrictions and all of that. But yeah, we have a new submission, someone. Ooh, this is beautiful. Beautiful piece, but it's staying a bit shy. I can't read though, that's fire. This piece is nice. I don't know if it's the exercise. You know what I mean? The point was to make typographic combinations. I guess it didn't, like this works, but I figured that if you do this, we're gonna talk about it on the let's talk about it on what we do in the feedback. So yeah, let me do this. For example, really quick. No, let's do it while we'll do this. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's do this. Okay, create. Let me jump to this camera real quick. Can you hear me, guys? Yeah, you can. The fuck? There. Like this. Like that. Bim boom bam. My actions, let me put that here, this here. I don't know if I should collapse this also. Yeah, I think it's cool. No, but I need the layers though. No, let's do it like this. And what I think I want to do, yo, what's good, Boyd Star, my guy? So where were the... Here, let's drop everything here. Let's drop every piece. I like that every time, guys, there are more people submitting pieces. I'm gonna start like maybe doing like a selection process for the ones that we're going to discuss during the dojo. I don't know how will we apply that in the future. Yeah, a lot of submissions. Yo, there are a few, right? So let's put this here. I guess I must try to do this beforehand. I don't know. Let me make this bigger. You hear her crying? Yeah. She's literally asking for that. Where is she? Hola. Me dicen, Camila, en el stream me dicen, anda a tocar a tu perra. Yeah. She wants to go for a walk, I think. So, okay, I'm just gonna arrange the pieces here. Yo, can I select like this? Yo, guys, is there any exercise or any particular topic that you would like to do an assignment on? Something that you would like to learn. Don't tell me something that you're kind of good at, because that's whack, you know what I mean? Like, okay, there we have mostly everything, I feel like, right? What's this? Oh, should have more. Okay, we have a few. Can I make zoom? Yes, I can. The ones on the top are a little bit bigger than the rest. So, okay. I think I need to change the background color. Why it's like that? Oh, everything was on multiply. Whatever. No anda entregas. Yes. The hang is pretty big. Yeah. All of them together look pretty sick. This is the first. I don't know how you say it in English, but it's in Spanish. It's la colgada, le decían. The hang. The hang. The first hanging of the Design Dojo. When you put all of the pieces side by side. It's nice because what's cool about seeing the work like this is that it's much easier to spot like the conceptual differences between every piece of work, you know what I mean? You know what's also good? That, for example, this piece on the Discord, like when you see it on the cell phone, for example, it looks bad, right? It doesn't look as good, but there is something about being next to other ones that are a bit more developed that lifts the work up, you know what I mean, and makes you perceive it in a bit kinder way, right? At least for me, I feel like every piece is composing with each other. So yeah, it's a nice way to look at your work in a different light that when it's just isolated, you know, by itself. So yeah, at the top of the dome, like, yeah, I'm taking a look at them, and actually looking at them like this, it looks pretty good. Like each of them looks pretty good, but I think I should have said in the briefing of the exercise to do it only in black and white for this. But let's do like a gradient map. Let's see like this, how it looks. Okay. You see now this doesn't look as bad in the context of the entire hang, you know? This looks much better in black and white than in color. Yeah, it looks good. I'm thinking of how we should do. Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, it's cool. Like, let's talk about, for example, I don't know how to select the one. I want to talk about this piece. Why can't I just select it? You know what I mean? Why can't I just select the piece? Ah, like that. It's pressing Control with you when you're in the move tool, and then it goes. Yeah, I want to touch a bit on the ones that I feel are doing some of the correct kind of stuff. For example, this one. Yeah, the point of the exercise really was to try to mix different typographies in a way that created a dynamic composition, right? And at least for me, one of the ways that I try to encourage you through the brief was to find really ways, and you could make these typographies like clash, right, through picking fonts that had really contrasting main features. You know, you pick a font such as this one, the design one, that has like a nice modularity to it. And also I like that he sort of respected, like, for example, this weight here, not sorry the weight, but the height of the line. What can I do? For example, this. Right? That it's pretty similar to this height. You know what I mean? To the width of the typography. It's not the same, but it's around the compositionally, it's alike, you know what I mean? And also you have, for example, then the width of this typography. Something like this that matches a bit the space within the characters, right? This is something that you don't necessarily need to measure. It's not exact, you know what I mean? But you'll see in other examples. Then, for example, when you have the other typography, the one on the top, right? The one of the top, the typography in the top sort of starts to lose a bit of that rhythm that these two have together, right? One is really mechanic, it's really linear, right? Although it has like these round edges, right? But still the typography proposes like this really vertical, squished state. And then the what is this? Like how do you call this? Like this more ornamented font. It's more wide open. It has a lot more embellishments. So I think that's a nice contrast, but also the modularity that it has because of the width of the strokes goes really well with the one below because it shares this modularity, right? I mean modularity, I mean the way the modules are built, right? You can see this like in the stroke of the fonts, how wide it's the box of the font, you know? Like for example, this width that we have here, right? It's sort of similar to the width that we have in this character, right? Maybe here, if you'd use another letter more, like another more symbol, then you sort of break that pattern, that modularity, right? But this typography on the top, like it doesn't bear anything in common with any of the other fonts. You know, like it breaks that rhythm completely. Like there is nothing here that sort of resembles any of the other modules. You know what I mean? Maybe yeah. The width of these spaces is kind of the same, but it doesn't flow as well. Also because the typographies in sort of field, they are both display and they are both pretty bold, right? So that you're being a bit redundant, right? And not in a way that also the negative space that we have, you can see in this typography, the negative space, which is the space we have within the symbols, it has like a really like homogeneous like rhythm, you know? It's pretty the same. It's really repeatable. It's really predictable. You know what I mean? Like it's like a line. It creates this like line pattern, you know? And in this one, it's a pretty irregular, it's a pretty irregular and jagged negative space that you get that doesn't go well with the entirety of the other negative space, right? For example, all the swirls here create like a really nice balance, right? Because they are not so irregular, right? It creates some nice shapes that go well together with the lines, the vertical lines, right? We have like a lot of vertical lines and then a lot of like diagonals, right? That go really well with those vertical lines. But in this one, we don't have like that suggestion of direction, you know what I mean? So it clashes it looks like from a completely different like poster, right? So that's something that you need to pay attention when you try to match fonts, right? And even more because you placed it like off the top here. If I grab this and I make a mask, now let me grab this and let's just make a mask. You see that looks completely different than this. You see? The small type here, it's a nice addition. I would have grabbed the entire Swirly font and put it on top of the other one, you know, make it like take that space, and you could have a really nice font combination. If you take this out also, for example, like this works also, you know, it's a really nice bold font with something a lot more understated, right? I said on the brief that one of the fonts should provide like the vibe, when the other brings like the legibility and sort of the little details, you know, but you can think of it sort of like that. Try to match typographies that have similar rhythms, but contradicting main features, you know? I guess that's a nice way to put it. The fonts need to bring similar rhythms to the table in the way they are constructed, the modularity, the way they handle the negative space, the space within the characters. But they differ in their main feature, which is its thickness. It's variable stroke or it's a single stroke. It's wide, it's tall, you know, it's really condensed. So yeah. Let's bring this one. This one here. Which is another one we would like to talk. My friend. Yeah. I was drinking mate, all right. I'm from Argentina. Now I'm drinking Fernet. Let's go. So, let's continue. Let me see in the dojo if we have some Ambu operatives, because Fernecito, you know. Oh, why is not the chat here? Oh, sorry, there's the chat. Sorry, chat. So let me see if we have some Ambu operatives, because for the ones that maybe don't know, the Patreons that help keep the dojo running, I give them priority feedback when we do these revision rounds. But again, I always try to give feedback on everyone, and more so if I see that's feedback that could help everyone, you know what I mean? That's why I always encourage you also to read the dojo rules, because when we're doing stuff like this, we're looking collectively at all the pieces. It's really important, guys, that you learn to detach a bit from your own work so you can see it for what it is. Once you achieve that, you'll see, for example, some mistakes are harder to see in your work, but you'll see them in others' work. And once you see it in others' work, you can go, am I making the same stuff? And then you go to your piece and you realize that you are making the same mistakes, you know? But sometimes our work has that veil of, it's like, it has that veil of like, how do you say? It's a bit harder to penetrate, you know what I mean? With a critical gaze than the work of others. Like actually critical gaze. I mean, it's because it's easier with our work to just like take it down, you know, just flat out say it's worse, and you look at others' work in a better light, right? But when we're trying to be critical, then it flips, I feel, right? And it's harder to be analytical and actually critical of your work than it is from the work of others, because from the work of others, you don't have the attachment, right? So that's a muscle that with stuff like this, it's harder to, I mean, it's easier to start to learn, right? And also seeing them side by side, you can sort of spot those differences better. So yeah, what I was saying about the Design Dojo, I'm gonna see if we have some of the AMBU operatives, which are the paid Patreons. Someone nice. Yeah, we have a few. We have a few. This one from Bro. Take this here. Boom, boom. Yo, this is a nice system that we have going on here. So here we have a lot going on, my guy. I said that try to don't use like more than 3 fonts top, right? Already matching 2, it's hard, right? But the more fonts you use, you're adding more variables that you need to make like flow together, and it's hard. It can be done, right? But it's hard. And here, like, he says that he used 2 fonts, right? But when you mix and match so much of the variables of the different weights and the different styles of the font, it's practically the same, in my opinion, you know, because they differ in feel pretty hard, and more so when you also add the difference in height, right? The different like styling that you gave to the text. So yeah, that actually prevented you for even trying the exercise, right? Because here you try like a pretty constructivist style of page layout, and really the point of the exercise was to try to make like a neat typographic arrangement, right? Like a title for a poster, or maybe like a real small nice composition for a spread page, and then build the supporting elements. But here you went for other kind of shit that I don't think it's particularly wrong, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but it's kind of all over the place. It wasn't really the exercise. This is more of a trying to be editorial piece, right? Like purely editorial. Yeah. Yeah, I would tone it down on the fonts and try, and also because this is also a bit by the book, you know what I mean? Like this, you could make it work. I don't like it as it is, but you could. Yeah, once you explained it, I understood. Yeah, that's fire. But I forgot what I was about to say. Yeah, this is more of an editorial piece, and yeah, not really the exercise, but and also that's what I was saying. You played it a bit safe and by the book. Like if the point was to be like a bit editorial about it, you went pretty safe with it also. You know, like this could kind of work. We could play around with it, and it could work, but this is not the exercise, right? Also, when we try to get the exercise, the point is not to like with these assignments, I'm not trying to like make you achieve the standard, right? This is a space in which we are trying to play and see if we can make something a bit extra, right? Not extra in the sense of better, but in the sense of at least exploring in that direction, something that it wouldn't be the first thing you do, right? So it's also a bit safe. On this one, what I would do to make it a bit more out there, let's see. Let's create a duplicate. Let's rasterize it so I can start playing with it a bit. I don't know. Let me try to do. This is a nice exercise to try to do like in pen and in real paper, right? Get real paper to try to do this exercise. We have that. Let me change that to this color. right? I would maybe start seeing what kind of shapes I could find within the text itself and try to push those differences like a bit more. Right, for example, here I could place this like that, right? Maybe a bit random, but let's try to see if I put it like up to here and I can try to make this space that we have here, like this block that forms, make it be the same width at the one at the top, right? So we use the same modularity and the same features of the font to create the elements with which we distort it, you know? So we remain and we retain that sort of modularity that the font already has. So for example, here we have this nice space that I like, so I'm gonna delete this. Right, already here we have something. Right, it doesn't matter what it says. Like you could grab the text and make it better. Right, it doesn't matter what it says. Right, I'm just trying to make like a compelling typographic composition. Actually, this is really nice. I encourage you all to do this. Like grab your own piece and cut it and mash it like cut it and mash it like this. Like this. Boom, like that. It doesn't need to be like this. You know, it doesn't need, I like this sometimes, I think. I like this. Right, you see the spacing that I use? This spacing is similar to this spacing, is similar to this, the stroke of the font, right? It's not perfect, right? Maybe it should be a bit more like that. And this one could be like a little smaller if you want to make it like pixel perfect, whatever. But it's not the point. Like what I'm trying to say is like to try to find those spaces that the typography already has, to see if you can use them as building blocks to modify it, right? And to bring another font in, right? To keep that rhythm. And then you bring something that's really different, right? Let's say I grab another font. Do it black. Let's grab something. Yo, come on, give me a nice font. This. I like this. This, but I need a bit more spacing. Right? And you see as it is, maybe the font is not that great because the contradicting feature is like, it has like, you see how this font has this like slope that goes like this. Well, this font have it in an awkward way, right? It's like it has this slope, but it has it like in reverse, right? It shares like it is this boxy like feel that the type has, but that's easy. We grab it and we make it like so, right? And we make it really like extreme. We get like that, and we put it a little stroke white, so it's on the outside. Like that. Boom. You see what I mean? And I was like literally like playing, you know what I mean? A type is something that you need to get a feel for it, but you need to do a lot of this, right? A lot of, we're gonna do this, but with real paper. I'm gonna do something that you will need to print and you will need to cut with scissors and paste and stuff like that. But see, here we have something. So let me grab this, I'm gonna put it here, and yeah, there we have something, and it works. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm thinking maybe if we should do like the assignments should be bi-weekly, like 2 weeks, you know, so we do one correction and then we do like another, you know. I don't know if that would be better. So you sort of get the idea more, you know. But again, we went from the fuck. Where is this? Ah. Right, we went from this. I mean, with these elements, right? I used the typographies that you use go well together, right? But you need to, like, how do you push it even more, right? Like, how do you get within the type a little bit more so you make it more your own, right? You use it as a base material to create something else, right? Because then I do like this, I go boom, merge group, I go select color range, I have it like that, boom, and then I go boom. What the fuck? Oh, because it copied everything. Okay. Then I go like that. I just selected everything. Create a solid color, black. I'm gonna put what I copied here. Gonna invert. I'm gonna levels so I get more contrast. Like that, boom. Rasterize again. Convert to smart object. Don't try to follow me, I'll make that tutorial about this. Boom. Boom, boom. Boom. Duplicate. Filter blur with more blur to the one below. Like that, boom. This will decrease the fill. There. You see, now it looks like more processed and it looks more final, you know? But the entire skeleton of this, it's the other thing that we did, you know? And this we're gonna merge the layers. It's this that we created off of what you created. Like what I used is here, like practically you made it. You know what I mean? Oh, my light, sorry. Just realized. So yeah, from this to this, the same. So now let me grab this. Let's take that one to the wall. Yeah, this is nice. I like this. But fuck, we have a lot. We have a lot of dudes, right? A lot of dudes. So yeah. So okay. Let me see what else, because that one I guess explained a lot. You know, this one, this type, from what I told you guys, like for example, let's look at this one, because this one, like, because these things is what is gonna help you like start to sort of spot good and bad fonts. Let's talk about this one. What's that, this type, like the one from the death? I don't like that type that much, because, or at least I don't know if it's working in this particular like size, because it has like a really awkward, like the spacing of the, like the stroke, the width of the stroke. I don't know if it goes well together with the, like the inner counter shape that the font has, you know. I'm not saying that it needs to be the same for it to work, right? But there needs to be some sort of modularity to it that makes it go like be pretty like harmonious, you know. Let me see if I have a similar one. I have a similar font to that. You see, it's not the same font, right? I know. But you can see from this font, oh, also this font is shit. Because, let me put this here. Like you see the inner, you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention to the inner shapes that form the spacing between the characters, because it forms like a little light, right? You see how the counter shape, it looks all over the place. Like we have between the D and the E, we have this little space, then we have this massive chunk of space, then we have like, this is sort of even, the kerning is fucked up, you know what I mean? To sort of fix that from character to character, if you press Alt and then with the arrow keys, you can move them individually, right? And here there is no science to it really. Like you need to go by feel. Right? There I feel it looks a lot more even, right? Does it? Yeah, the E and the A, it's fucked. Yeah, so here maybe it's better to have it all a bit more wide apart. That works a bit better. Right? One trick that I do, well, a friend of mine taught me this, is like, you know how to blur your eyes, like blur your vision. You make the font a bit smaller and then you try to blur your vision a bit, and then you try to see like the little, you see better a bit the space, right? The spacing between the characters. Well, when you see that's a gap that's not uniform, you know, to the entire like composition, then you can adjust that part, right? I feel that's a bit better. No, I don't know. It feels odd. But yeah, I guess you get the idea, right? That you need to pay attention to this sort of spacing. This is I don't think this is perfect, but it's better than we had at the beginning, and you should be able to spot those kind of differences, right? Because in this one, again, the E and the A, it's fucked up. Like the spacing here, it creates this wide gap that's horrible, because it doesn't go with everything. In this specific font, that's it, like the one that we had before, it's proposing like this vertical like sort of rhythm, and it creates like this jarring thing here. So maybe this is not the font for this specific word, you know what I mean? Because when you see those type lookups, that makes you go like, fuck, that's crisp, you know what I mean? It's because they have this really beautiful like balances between the negative space, between not only the fonts but the characters. There are certain words that just work better, you know what works well? This poster from Bro, it's crazy, you know. This is peak, but Bro knows what he's doing. Let's just not get too ahead of ourselves. I know that he knows what he's doing. This works, right? I would like to see, because from the ones guy that I know that can deliver more, I'm not gonna start to ask more, you know what I mean? Because that's the point. That's what I meant also, that this is not a challenge, right? I don't want you just to fulfill the brief, right? Like, what more can we do, right? That's outside of what we usually do. For example, me on my posters, I'm not a typography dude, right? I don't know, I can't tell one font from another, right? I'm a dude that's gonna do like the big word with some evocative image, and that's it. You know what I mean? So I guess this is a nice way, and try to explore more on the typographic direction. But Bro knows what he's doing. I want to see more, like more. I like that he did like the creative composition, and it's fire. But yeah, I like that he didn't go for the usual like Helvetica with the script font, and this pixel image like takes it even further, the contrast, because it's not even a modern font. It's more like a system font, you know what I mean? When do you use optical or metrical? Oh, I don't know. Like I don't know. Where do you change that? I don't remember where do you change the... He's talking about the way type is aligned. I don't know if in Photoshop you can change that. But that's something you need to worry about more when you're doing editorial, right? When you're doing editorial stuff and you're working with big grays of text, then I would then focus on this sort of stuff. This is yours? This is from Bro? This is from Boystar? This is from Not Batman. Oh, I thought we were talking about this one was yours, my guy. Well, yeah, nice contrast. And again, similar concept to the other one is the script, is the touch, you know, like the rectilinear monostroke. These kind of fonts are called monostrokes because there is no difference between the vertical stroke and the horizontal stroke because of an optical illusion of visual compensation. Usually the horizontal strokes are a bit like more compressed, right? They are a bit thinner. But again, I'm not a technical type guy. There are some kind of things. For example, also another thing, when you do, for example, for stuff like this, I don't know how I would be able to change it. For example, this kind of stuff. You see here that this little slope is just touching the edge. I would edit the font so it goes over and it breaks that line, right? because here you have all this breakage, all this leakage from the font that's going over the other, and this bothers me. Like I would grab this and make it go all the way up to here, you know? So you grab that lateral energy that the other type has, and you make it explode, right? You break it really much. And also like sort of trying to break this parallel that you get here. You see how this curve goes just above that where the type is setting. This, I would make it even more, like grab this part of the font and there you make it like a bit more custom, and put it just like take it a bit and grab it and put it just a bit upwards, you know? And that way you make it sit a bit more in the middle of the symbol. But this is not for writing. I'm saying this for the context of the poster, you know? Because you have like this sort of straight line that goes like too aligned with this one, right? And if you take it a bit up, you sort of break it more with this curves that this nice curve that comes from here. But yeah, but this is already nice, right? It's nice for a poster. Then the next level would be to, okay, what does it say and what does it have to do with the image, right? But bro already did that part, right? This was the poster. Also the color is gas. A+, my guy. Like the poster, this poster is beautiful. So yeah, there we have it. Why I can't? There. What other could we watch? Again, this one, I'm just gonna do it like this. Like this one, bro knows what he's doing. Nice composition on the poster itself, but again, shy on the typographic composition. It works, right? I would try to see like this font. Okay, I give it that. Like this font is hard maybe to make something that sort of works, right? To find a matching font, but I guess it works. Yeah, I take it back. This is nice. I like the 2025 on the back with that serif font. Yeah, it's nice. I would maybe see if you could make it work, giving the serif font a bit more like weight within the piece. That would be crazy. Actually. This one has a lot going on. It's the exercise because it really tried to the edge to push like the typographic combination, but it's overdoing it. It's overdoing it. I guess this is a gauge like of his style. He likes to do a lot, but yeah, because bro is like that, you know. He's built like that, and he likes to do a lot. It is what it is. Yeah, he likes to do a lot, but I think it's a matter of trying to control that urge, and you can still do a lot because this is more than you can manage, my guy. You know what I mean? You'll still do a lot, but try to manage it better. I like this font combination. This that you did here on the top, I like it. You know what I mean? Like this. Look at this sticker. Like this is a sticker and this works. This was the exercise. If you had done this, it would be alright. Right? But then bro had to, you know? Why did you add this? What's the point of all of this on the bottom? Right? Already this that you do here, because you do this in all your pieces, I realized, like the typographic combination, this that you do here, it could be done much more tastefully, but it works. I don't think it's wrong. It's like a signature thing you do in your pieces. I would stay kind of like off of what we've seen here, like you have, I like the Gothic font, how it flows into the E. Then we start to add another ones. For example, I don't know if this is the font for this, like the slanted like serif font. The T sort of for this, for example, here you're using a T that's uppercase with a Y that's not uppercase, right? And that difference in the weight, it shows, and it's bothering me. You know, it bothers, like, what this shouldn't line up here. Like, it's not lining up, and also, like, why is it different? Like the stroke, you know what I mean? Like here in the D, I guess you did the same as in with the T. Yeah. Like you need to control also this spacing here. Like this could be a lot tighter. Like you can make it, if the letters are gonna touch, make them touch. Every letter should touch. Here, look, this counter space that you have here. This could be a lot tighter, but as a concept, I feel it works. Like you can make it work, but how is it done like better, right? This redemption font, I don't like it. You should use something that's a lot thinner or a lot wider and make it a stroke, you know? Because I feel like the width of this font, it's a lot similar to, for example, this also should be a bit thicker, I feel, right? But it would be nice to have a bit more contrast in the thickness of that stroke in the redemption font, right? Just to make it separate a bit better and have it read as another weight, right? Because you don't want it like competing. But this kind of works. This kind of works. I like it. But again, not this. Like, the fuck? Like, this is kind of bullshilaja. You know what I mean? Here also. And also, another thing, if you're going to establish like some sort of system, like if it's black font big, red font small, like keep it. But no, it's okay, it's okay. I take it back. I guess this is more like a being playful thing. Also, it's not always necessarily like that you should always keep it. But I guess in a poster, yeah, that's more for like a system of pieces. Like, it's okay, forget about it. But yeah, I mean, forget about the last thing that I said. Like, the other, like, it's cap. So yeah, again, more fonts. Also, guys, we're gonna do like an editorial challenge because you need to learn to do a gray of text. These spaces, some of my teachers would have dead ass shot you against the wall for these rivers. This is spacing inside the type. It's a no-no. When you do in text that it looks like it should be read, you know what I mean? It's not like you're not doing it in a sort of compositional way, like the previous poster that we did that had that, but they were intentional. You notice, right? The spaces were matched in every paragraph. So that's different, you know what I mean? That's different, my guy. But again, I really like doing the bullshit like this because it's different seeing all your poster like this. Like it elevates the level a lot. That's crazy. Let's talk about this one because it's eyeing me. It's looking me funny and I don't like it. I don't like that it's looking me funny. This particular poster. We'll take a look at it right now. I'm gonna fuck it up. Nah, it's good, it's good. Nice piece. Bro, know what he's doing. But what's the issue with this? It's not an issue, it's an observation. What's the observation? It's good, like I like it. He tried different type. He tried different typography combinations. It works. Bro knows what he's doing. This is one of those exercises that it's better for the ones that don't know what they're doing, right? Because the ones that know, I already get a hang for it, like a bit more, but seeing this, it helps a lot to the ones that are struggling a bit with it, with the concept of matching type. Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, but you see that the examples I did, the examples I showed you were really extreme, right? They were already display, right? They were more around things that are designed to grab your attention, right? Not necessarily to function properly. They are very dynamic. And yeah, this one captures a lot of that spirit, I feel like, but it has a lot of issues. These are two words, Nasi Lemak, national dish. Because this spacing here, I find it a bit odd in the middle. You see this? That spacing, it's a bit odd. I don't know if it's two different words or it's an odd spacing. Also, this food, I would have stretched it even more, you know, it's too vertical. Like make it more slanted, make it more contrasting. And here, my thing with this is that this looks like two different pieces. Like it looks like this or like this. You know? It looks like two different stuff, you know? Nothing particularly wrong with it, but just an observation. Yeah, this national dish, I guess it's creating again that really odd spacing. Like you can take a look at it like that when you're trying to make like a typographic composition or even a poster. Like you can see at what you're making, you can see like the text and the images, but also try to look at it like at the inverse, like what's the negative space, how it looks, and if you like it, right? But because you can see here, it's pretty awkward, like this spacing that we have here, you see? Like this spacing that we have here is kind of odd. This here also, like if you're gonna make this be wide, like wide spacing between the parentheses, make it wider, right? Make it more wide or bring the parentheses in completely and make the weight of this A match everything. If it's gonna match, make it match. If you wanna make it contrast, so it looks a lot more refined within the bolder type, make it really refined, right? Here again, this sort of script font, make it like super, you know, make it like super, you know, like make it really go against the direction of the text, right? And maybe here, this could be more like this, right? And then the national dish, or maybe you put it here, right? Or you see how you can arrange it. Maybe this doesn't need to be particularly in the dead center. Maybe this sits a bit more like here, and then the national dish has a better negative space in respect to the things that are around it, you know? And here the same, it's a matter of arranging the negative space, because it's really odd. I don't know if this is like phonetic reading, like yes, this is phonetic. So these are the characters. But again, you can see there is a bit of like odd spacing that doesn't really look that intentional. It works, like I'm not saying like it just needs a bit of adjusting, just a tad. but the concept is there, and the exercise is, it's again, it's what I'm saying, it's fulfilled, you know, it's fulfilled. I don't remember other pieces from this guy to see if this is a push or not, but I like it. But again, this, I'm just trying to point things to sort of look for when you don't know, I'm not really sure what to look for when you say, how do I improve this? But yeah, this is the direction of the piece. I guess those are details that I would maybe look for, you know, this kind of spacing, it's a bit odd compared with this one, right? And also the weights, these weights, like make this really contrasting, you know what I mean? Like the weight of this other font here, make it really subtle, or maybe like make it super far apart, the parentheses really big, you know? Yeah, other than that, bro's getting hungry. So yeah, let me see. So yeah, I guess from the ones that I've talked about, I already covered like the mistakes I see. This one is pretty similar to the one that I said was good, you know, the one from bro. From this one, right? I guess it tried to, I don't know if who copied who, but it's nice. This works, right? I would maybe pick a font that's a bit more contrasting, you know, maybe a serif font. Try to how we could have maybe that worked, you know. But I like it. This again, the fonts are pretty homogeneous, pretty similar, but it works. This is again one that I would have to pay attention to the spacing between the characters, because you have these little lights here that are really annoying. Here it flows, right? I feel this E could be a little bit more far apart from the D. Or you make it all touch and you close all those gaps, or or you let it breathe, you know what I mean? Yeah, other than that, this looks really tidy. It works. It's odd, a little bit odd, the weight of these lines. It's a bit, why is it heavier than all of the other lines, you know? Like make it disappear, because it's drawing my attention. You know, like the little boxes to the top. This one I like. This typography I don't like here. I don't think it works well. Right? You see this typography that has like a real contrast in between its vertical stroke and the diagonals. That only works like if it's really, really big. Oh yeah, this is pretty safe. Bro, know what it's doing. It works. So yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, I guess from what I said, we already covered a lot. Like from what I said and what I showed you, I guess we'll go with the feedback. Take your time, guys. Don't try to make the piece just for the sake of completing it to get some feedback. You know what I mean? Like, that's the time you're trying to make the piece. That's the time you're trying to make something. So just make it like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I really like it. This camera is nice, right? Like this composition with the Photoshop in the background. Like that. Boom. Thumbnail. Let's make the thumbnail. That's crazy. So, okay, guys. Okay. Do you want to ask me anything? Because before I jump to my piece, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna mix and match them. You know what I mean? Yesterday we finished with Camila. We finished The Last of Us Part 1, and I don't know if y'all played like Part 2 because I know what happens, and I don't want to. It's emotional damage. You know what I mean? I want to wait a little bit before playing that one because it's pretty heavy. Currently, I'm playing Persona 5. And I'm really liking that vibey game, you know what I mean? Lovely beats. If you like jazz, you're gonna love Persona. It has like one of the best. It's actually the only game that I've listened actively to the how do you say? To the soundtrack. The soundtrack is killer. Also, I got this, bro. This because both my controllers, like the Pro Elite controllers, the Xbox One broke, so I got this that I saw it's like one of the best premium controllers, but it's pretty cheap. It's like $80, but bro, hear this. Like it has clicky switches in every button. But how the controller feels, it's crazy. And you can change it and make it travel more, like you see. Focus machine. It's not focusing. Fuck. Doesn't matter. I really like my controller. I wanted to show you. I'm interested in watching how you customize your text. How you mentioned earlier. No idea how to do that very well. Yeah, that's more in the custom type. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I'm just trying to mix fonts right now. Because custom type, it's like a completely different like thing, because there you do need to go. We can do some exercises by feel, but you need to know a little bit of the technical aspects of fonts. I'm not an expert in that. That's why you have people that literally specialize in type, because it's an entire world. It's an entire world. Type, to be nice doing type, it requires a lot of effort. It's actually ridiculous, the amount of effort that it takes. But yeah, you know what I mean. We're just gonna make some bullshit. And let's do like that. Boom. Yeah, and I don't really know what I want to do and how do I want to approach this. So let's just throw a word, you know what I mean? When you're in doubt, just throw a word in there. Actually, it would be crazy if we did like lorem ipsum, you know what I mean? Like if we left it for the poster. So let's play around with this. Let's see what happens. Also, I'm pretty big on deforming the text. I like because I feel like I sort of get like it is an easy cop out into making it look intentional, you know? Because if you deform the text and everything looks like shit, then you're just shitty, you know what I mean? But if you deform the text, but then you kind of nail the composition, then it's sort of ooh, he can do that, you know what I mean? Like when the dudes at Spotify did it, then it was like cool, you know what I mean? But it's all back to the same thing, you know, the teachers that tell to you like don't deform type. but it's because it's hard. You need to understand really well how the counter shapes of the text like sort of work, and they put a lot of effort into making them like that. And when you stretch it and distort it, you're breaking that entire flow, right? But sometimes in the bigger context of a piece, it works. Okay, let's try. You see, this is not it. Yo, it would be crazy if we start to live in like this system. And you know when the font is not loading? Yo, why I'm not getting like the... Yeah, I have a somewhat of a selection of fonts that I like to use, but I try to, for every piece, sort of scout a little bit and see what I can find. Don't worry, guys. I know that this looks like ass, but I literally am trying to just make something different, see if something pops up, you know? This works. Actually, we could do like... Here I'm trying to make everything like pretty compact, you know. I'm trying to make like the spaces sort of make sense with the gaps within the type, and also the stroke of the other types that I'm using. So the entire spacing feels a little bit more like intentional and thought out, you know what I mean? Not that it feels, it actually it's thought out, right? But I'm trying to make it apparent that it's thought out. Maybe this needs to be a bit bigger. We need to change the lorem ipsum. Mickey 67. What's that movie about? Shinobi. What could be a good word? Shinobi Council. And actually the Shinobi, I'm gonna take it out. It's pretty shit, right? No, what did I do? Add a stroke. Classic. It's that bad, guys? I wanted to see it. Fuck. I love Jurassic Park. So bad that they fuck it up. This type is nice because it already has like pretty nice spacing. You see how it's pretty nice. Yo, it's Shinobi Council. Ah, Council with C. Jurassic Park, the mutant. There are mutant dinosaurs? What the fuck? Mutant dinosaurs, that's crazy. Yo, it's a really like, you know what this reminds me of? It's really like Evangelion. It's really Evangelion-esque, like composition, you know? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, yo bro, give me filler paragraph text for a piece with copy about the Shinobi Council. It's just filler text. Make it somewhat long. There. Comic Sans. It's not it, bro. It's not it, bro. And here for this one, decimal mono, I like how it looks, right? But the thing with type is that sometimes this one feels Euro style. This one feels right. Right. I'm just thinking that it needs something to really contrast like the entire direction of the poster, of the piece, rather. But I like this like vertical direction that it has here. And also, I just want to space this block of text, you know? So all sort of the directions that I'm using and the spacing in the poster comes from somewhere, right? The spacing between this like text lookup and the block of text is the same as the height of this word that I used here. And the height of this word, the Shinobi word, is twice the council word. You know what I mean? Like you can sort of start using all the measures that you already have in your piece to make the other elements. So it has like this sort of rhythm and repetition that helps structure the piece a lot, right? You don't need to follow it like millimetrically, but it has like a bit of swing to it. You know, when you are in music production software like FL Studio, there is a feature that's called swing, that what it does is when you start to put the notes and the beats in the timeline, the swing adds a little bit of variation between one and the other, so it doesn't like falls mechanically perfect like in the beat. I don't know exactly if the variation, because this was a long time ago, I don't know if the variation is like milliseconds on the beat or it's a difference in volume, but it adds a little bit of variation to each thum, 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 to each sound, so it doesn't sounds that like mechanical, you know what I mean? It has a little bit of swing to it that gives it a bit more of an organic feel. So this is kind of the same. We're trying to eyeball it so we get that feeling, right? But it doesn't have to be like perfect, grid perfect, you know what I mean? It has to have like a clear intention and to sort of follow those guidelines. But don't kill yourself trying to make it like pixel perfect, you know what I mean? Oof. I did that by mistake. It was actually fire. You saw that? Like that? That I like. But the concept was let's keep it let's keep it like that, like real messy, you know what I mean? Like super condensed. This week 17, I want to change it. My guy, how are you doing? This I want to change. This one I like because that 7 has like a real cool line that sort of breaks. No, this one I like more, I think. Like that, and boom, boom. And we bring this like so. What happens if I bring the council and I put it over here or over here? There is something that it doesn't feel quite right with the council word. No, I fuck it up. Oh, there. Oh, sorry. The council word. I think it needs a little bit of spacing. Like if I do 0. Oh, there it's better. Let's put it like this. Or no, when it was closer, it felt better, right? Just a bit. If you do -10. There. And you see, here's when you start to make decisions, because I feel like this spacing that we have is a bit awkward here. This feels a bit awkward, but I really wanted to give it this feel. You know what I mean? You want to start a creative community, my guy? Just do work and start to ask people and try to get them together, you know. But I guess for a community, at least what I found for myself, it is nice that you get a sense of why you want to do it, right? What are the values that you want to sort of share? There. Because I made the type a bit more separated in the council, so I felt I would need to separate that in the other, in this aspect as well, you know. So it's everything a bit more tight. No, this one no. What's the inner sanctum one? This one. No problem, my guy. Hope it was of help. Hope it was of help. Yo, my guy, thanks for the love. Really appreciate it. I'm really glad that it's helping you in any way, bro. Actually, I think I'm gonna make this a bit like this. I think it would help the piece a bit. Yeah, I want to keep with the idea of having everything a bit squished together. And you see this interline in this to go along with everything. I think it needs to be a bit closer together. Like almost stepping, each line stepping into each other. Like that, 39 pixels. So the other needs to be 39. Like that. Maybe if this one is center. That's all. Segment. Yeah. Do you ever make mood boards to help with doing client work? Yeah, for sure. Mood boards are really important to at least make sure that you and the client are on the same in the same boat, you know what I mean, with the expectations for the project and at least like a certain direction. And I guess it's nice for a mood board. I don't make it like the specific style of the style you want to do. Make it so you have some sort of leeway, so you don't end up like wanting to copy what's on the mood board. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the client comes to expect exactly what you did on the mood board. This happened for the project of the desk pads that I did. Because the client wanted something really specific, and then I did something that had a vibe to it, but the client ended up liking it, right? But it's nothing. It was not so much like what we saw in the mood board, but the identity and sort of the feel for it sort of was, so that's important, right? So you don't dig yourself into a corner, because of the mood board. So using mood board, it's an art, really. Actually, I just really recently started using them. I was one of those kamikaze that gets a client and just starts working, and it worked for me. But yeah, it's far better and much more secure for you if you have like a discovery phase. And even before the mood board, it's nice to talk with the client, like from the things that we sort of talk about here in the dojo, right? What do you want to achieve? Like sort of trying to get like the idea, make him talk about the idea. And if it's a little bit, and maybe you feel like he doesn't have it pretty clear, like the client, then you step in and try to give form to the idea. And that process alone, it starts to give you much more decision power when it comes to the project overall, right? Because you start to sort of take the reins of it, like creatively, you know what I mean? And that gives you more agency during the project. So you're not bothered, you know what I mean? You're not bothered, you're left to your devices, because when we started to talk about the project, the client had nothing to say. So you sort of hijack that part of the process a little bit. And that's important. So you start to take the direction with the mood board phase, right? Then you take it more towards where you sort of want to go. A real amazing book on that. The Win Without Pitching Manifesto. Beautiful book. But this is a more of a business book, but for creative people. It's an amazing book. Yeah, amazing book. I'm liking this. The thing with this is that the contrast, it makes me go to Council Shinobi. Like it breaks the flow a little bit. So I felt it should be inverted. Like, let's make this the black. And the Council, let's do this in white. I got the issue that all my gradient maps always get duplicated as a custom. I don't know, my guy. Like upload that on the Discord, like in the troubleshoot. I want to see how it looks. Like, how does it get duplicated? Like, how are you using them? Like, you are doing click in the gradient map and it gets duplicated. Oh, this is another thing to keep in mind. When you're using a stroke, like the entire logic of the font changes a little bit. Because now I need to increase the spacing a bit more to compensate for the wideness, for the width of the the stroke, you know what I mean? Boom. No, but I didn't want it to do this because I always do that. I don't want to do that. Photoshop don't love designer. Nah, don't be like that. Photoshop do like us, you know what I mean? Yeah, I guess I'm done with something like this, guys. Yeah. I'm not particularly loving it. It's just okay because I'm a bit tired, and I think to really push it with typography, you need to spend quite a bit of time on it. And yeah, I think it's okay, but I'm not crazy about it. Not particularly proud of it. But yeah, I kind of like it. I guess I could try to do a piece with it. Like if I make it. Oh, guys, do you wanna be? You wanna see something crazy? I'm gonna give you a sneak peek. Pay attention, chat. I'm gonna do a tutorial on this, full tutorial, and I'm gonna release this asset pack. Boom. No, let's just keep it like that. I'm already cheating by using color and using this shape. Yeah. I think I like that one more, right? I think this one is, I like it more. Like this. But it needs something here. If I put it like this, if I duplicate it, put it like, that works. Or it should be like so. I think like so. Like that. I don't know if I show you this already, but I'm growing very fond of grabbing the entire piece, except like in this case, I don't want to apply this effect to the cutout that I did. So you duplicate everything else except the texture. Put it in a group, merge it, apply some blur, Gaussian fill, Gaussian blur. Make it pretty heavy. Put it on multiply. Reduce the fill, so we get like a nice bleed effect. Then I go to image, and on that layer I change the curves, and like that I give it like you see like that kind of halo. Like that, you know? And then on top of everything, another curves. I dial it in as I want. I like this contrast. And also another cool thing that I'm doing is I'm using gradient maps, and you put it in lighten, and then you grab gradient maps that have this from black to, or is it in reverse? Like that, in reverse. So they need to go from like opposite to this, from black to white. And they help you like recolor pieces in a really like nice like way, you see? So like that. I went on a tangent, sorry. I wasn't feeling the typography really, but I felt it worked for a poster. Now I like it more. But I cheated. It doesn't matter. Actually, we can take out this and it works already. But I don't know if you saw the one that I did for the post of the Design Dojo. This one is peak. This one I loved it. This one is peak for me. I love it. Right, it's the one that I did for the post, and I feel it works really well. But yeah, this works. Shinobi Council, I like it. So yeah, that was it, my guys. I'm pretty tired. I'm pretty tired. I want to go grab something to eat. 2 hours stream, let's go. So that's it, my guys. Hope you liked it, learned something. And let me know how you feel about doing like longer, like 2 weeks assignments. So we get like one feedback round and then we do another just to check if everyone like sort of improved. I think that makes sense, you know? But yeah, let me know how are you feeling about the dojo, the exercises. Really glad you like it. Hope you learned something, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm gonna close, my guys. I'm gonna close shop. Go grab something to eat. And yeah, talk to you tomorrow, my guys. See you in the next one. You already know how it is. Fuck peace. Wish you conflict. Bye, guys. Peace. Have a great night.